What's going on, people? Welcome to a new show on the Off the Ball Network, hosted by me, Chris LeBron, aka the Prez of the Off the Ball Network, Presidente. Nah, I'm not gonna steal that. That's Barstool. But we're gonna do a new show here at Off the Ball Network. It's essentially just going to cover the previous day's games in the National Basketball Association. So pretty much just going to recap some games, go over some, and just dive into some of the news that we have been hearing. Going to try to do this as much daily as possible. With time, you'll see me on this. You'll see other people hosting the show. So excited to be doing this, and let's get right into it. First, shout out to my guy Lawrence, big time Cavs fan. We gave him the business last night, at the Mecca. Big win for the New York Knicks, but we'll talk about them in a little bit. But first, this show is brought to you by our great friends at SeatGeek. SeatGeek, your number one place for all your ticket needs. The number one spot. Go to SeatGeek.com and get $20 off when you use the promo code Off the Ball Network. That is Off the Ball Network, all caps. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. Like I said, the number one place for all your ticket needs. Off the Ball Network, all caps. Let's get right into it, guys. Busy. We had some really, some blowouts, had some good games, little combination of both. So let's get right into it with the Pacers and the Chicago Bulls. Pacers 116. The Chicago Bulls 110. DeRozan had 33 points. Buddy Hield had 19, 4 steals in the comeback. The Bulls were up by 21 at the half. And just like the Bulls have been doing all year, they have just struggled mightily, trying to get buckets and all that, and managed just a measly 48 points in the second half and struggled, while the Pacers just absolutely lit it up in the second half with 70 points. Buddy Hield going off. It was a great performance. Ben Mathurin, played solid too. I think solid is an understatement. He had 26 points in the win and all that. Him, Paolo Banchero, it's going to be fun to see who gets the Rookie of the Year. But TJ McConnell has played solid ball of late, with the absence of Tyrese Halliburton. We don't know when Halliburton's going to come back, but Miles Turner had 26 and all that. But in the comeback win, so a big win for the Pacers. Chicago Bulls, just like I said, struggling, man. They are just struggling, and it's very disappointing. It really is disappointing, watching them play and all that. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do. Are they going to be sellers at the deadline? It's going to be really interesting to see what they do at the deadline. They got some pieces teams want, but man, it's definitely been a very disappointing season for the Chicago Bulls. Injuries, just the it just feels like it's so difficult for them to score consistently. But this Pacers team, man, they keep fighting. They fight. Obviously, life without Halliburton is definitely been tough. Especially these last 10 games and all that. But they're still in at 24 and 25, sitting in the 9th seed. The Bulls are sitting at 22 and 25 in the 10th seed. They're still in it. But Toronto as a 12th seed is a game and a half behind them, and the Wizards, who won, who we'll speak about in a little bit, are a game back of the 10th seed for that last play-in spot. So two teams battling it out for the last few for the play-in spot and all that. The play-in right now is Knicks, Hawks, Pacers, Bulls, all 3 games in between each other, and even the Heat, who we'll talk about next. Just a game ahead of the Knicks for the 7th seed. So it's tight. It's tight between 6 and 12 right now. 5.5 game difference and all that. So Pacers take care of business and beat the Chicago Bulls 116 to 110 in their win. And yes, Pacers stink without Halliburton. Who would have thought? Who would have thought losing your best player that you would not be a good team. It is it's rough, but I think overall you have to look at the Pacers and just still impressed by what they've been able to do. Just really impressed about what they're able to do. They have played really solid ball. So just 1 second, my mic is acting up. And we're back. Okay. So let's get into the next game and let's talk about the Heat and the Cavaliers. Miami Heat down. No Jimmy Butler in this game. Come away with the win. Now the Celtics did not have Jaylen Brown, but the Heat take care of business. 98-95 in their win, and the Heat seems like they're, no pun intended, they're heating up. They're playing solid right now. They have 1-2 in a row, last 10 games, 7-3 in their last 10 games, just playing really good basketball. And shout out to our guy Ken. Yeah, they're ahead of schedule, man. And you know what's crazy? I had them last in the Eastern Conference. I thought they would. This was my thinking, was that they're going to trade. They're finally going to trade Miles Turner. Buddy Hield's going to be gone. They just build around Mathurin and build around, Duarte and Halliburton. It'll be a struggle, but I thought they would be competitive. But I thought it might be a rough year for them. But yeah, I think I was wrong on being the worst team in the Eastern Conference. I was definitely wrong on that. On that prediction, but good things happening in for the Indiana Pacers. But yeah, let's go back to the the matchup between the Celtics and the Heat. Jayson Tatum had 31, 14, 7 assists, but like we mentioned, no Brown, no Butler. Bam Adebayo trying to make a late push for being an all-star. He's been good. He's been good this season and in this last stretch. Bam Adebayo has been playing some good basketball. And a big reason why they've turned it around. Miami didn't felt like they were struggling big time, but definitely have played some good basketball. It was an ugly shooting game. Not a game that you want if you were looking for scoring. Just not going to happen. Boston just could not find anything. Especially not just in the second half, in the fourth quarter. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. Struggled mightily. 31% from three from the from Boston, 43% overall. Miami didn't shoot any better, 36% overall, but their defense was on point, and was able to really do some things. Obviously Tatum is gonna let him do his thing, but my Boston's bench is the one thing that's that could have some worries. I know Brogdon's hurt, but that's something we tend to say a little. Brogdon's out, but hopefully he stays healthy because when he plays, he's obviously a great player and all that. And missing a lot of guys. I would have loved to have seen Gallinari on his team if they was healthy. I think that was a huge loss for them, losing Gallinari and all that. But obviously they're missing guys, so it wasn't going to look pretty for this team. No Marcus Smart, no Jaylen Brown, no Al Horford, but still a poor shooting night for Boston. And same thing for Miami, but they just made enough plays. And Bam Adebayo was played really good, and he's been really good for a few months now. And I think I think sometimes we forget how good he is, Bam Adebayo. Not just defensively, but offensively, he seems like he's improving. He's improving on that end. So good win for Miami. Like I said, they're battling with the Knicks for that, to avoid the play-in right now. Right now, they're 6th seed, just a game ahead of the New York Knicks for the 6th seed right now. So good win. Even though it was against a depleted Boston team, it's still a good win because they did not have Jimmy Butler. And what's crazy with Jimmy Butler? I used to not like Jimmy Butler. I used to not be a fan of Jimmy Butler. I don't know, but this last year, and then some of the games where, like the OKC game where they had no one playing. It was just him, and he led them back and helped me win my parlay too. But I think I've just grown so much respect for Jimmy Butler, year in and year out, and starting to become one of my favorite players. Someone I couldn't tolerate. Now I think Jimmy Butler is definitely one of my favorite players. Just the way he plays, man, it's so much fun. But let's head all over to the Big Apple, New York City, Madison Square Garden. Someone who we thought was going to be a member of the New York Knicks, Donovan Mitchell, comes here, and it was another game where, especially for the Cavs, it felt like it was struggling to get a bucket. But second half they definitely came on late and made it a game. It was a exciting game. Like I said, first half, even for the Knicks finished that second quarter just 19 points. So like I said, it was kind of an ugly first half, but second half picked up and we got some good ball. Julius Randle was absolutely on fire. We need to stop disrespecting this man. I know Knicks fans tend to not like Julius Randle, but enough. Enough is enough. Let's show this man his respect, his flowers, as we like to say, because he deserves it. He is playing tremendous basketball. He's playing all-star level basketball, and we need to just appreciate it. That's it. We need to just appreciate it and just enjoy what he's doing. He's playing good. Is it perfect? No, guys, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but he is playing, an all NBA caliber basketball, something we saw, from in the bubble, not the bubble, in the COVID season. He's playing really good, and big reason why the Knicks, came away 4-game losing streak snaps. Knicks sitting at the 7th seed. Cavaliers are the 5th seed, 29-20. A little scary, late game for Donovan Mitchell. We thought maybe, I know he was out for a few games, but I think a hamstring. But he was able to get up and, as far as we know, he'll be okay. Just a little scary thing late in the game for Donovan Mitchell, but the Knicks come away with the win. Julius ran 36 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 threes. I believe that's a career high for him. The Knicks just were killer from three, 17 to 33 from 3-point land, and that essentially was the difference in the game for them. RJ and Brunson had 3 threes each. It was Toppin, gotten more involved. Toppin had, a solid game, just 10 minutes, had 11 points. They need more bench help desperately, and getting him back, he was hurt for a little bit. Getting him back is important. Brunson didn't have the greatest game and all that, but, Julius Randle, was able to take over, and, Garland and Mitchell did their thing, but they didn't go off. Even Jared Allen had a solid game, but no one went off, and that was the difference in the game. Their bench did nothing too, so that kind of canceled things out with some of their starters having, 3 guys with 20 points. But overall, Knicks killed it from 3, and that essentially was the difference in this win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. A good win. People were wondering, it's just going to be another 70-point, game for for Donovan Mitchell, but that was not the case. He did not go off. They kind of held him in check, overall. So that was a good sting. But the New York Knicks hold on with the 105-103 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers and get the job done. Like I said, they are the 7th seed. Cavaliers are the 5th seed. And the Knicks end their losing streak. So let's go to our next matchup. And that is the Denver Nuggets and the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans, we all know, are wounded. A lot of injuries going on. No Zion, no BI. And there was a report. There's some crazy stuff going on with BI. People saying that his toe injury isn't turf toe, that it's just a bruised toe, and he just doesn't want to play. I heard that, and that's something going around that, questioning his toughness, and he should play. I don't know the significance of the injury. I'm a Duke fan. I love Bi. He went to Duke. I root for my Duke guys. I don't know if this is true or not, or if it's just a rumor, just to start. But I'm going to believe that. I tend to believe that athletes want to play, but so I think he wants to play. I mean, this team they are a good team when especially with him and Zion on the court. I'm not going to go on a limb and say he's faking and all that. I don't know. Toe injuries are kind of tricky. Even a bruised toe can feel like you broke your toe. It could be painful, especially when you're running up and down the court. So I'm not going to question him and all that. I know, a lot of things going on with load management and all that of late. And I'm not going to question him and all that. I'm going to believe that he's legitimately just not 100% to play. But Pelicans struggled mightily from 3, 5 of 26, they shot in. And especially without Bi, the shooting struggles are going to be there. CJ had 20 points, but Nikola Jokic, had a triple-double, 20, 11, and 10. Another monster game for the Denver Nuggets, who are sitting on top of the West, man. It has been a tremendous, they've 9-1 in their last 10 games, just playing tremendous basketball. And it's just, it's crazy to think that Nikola Jokic is going to maybe win 3 straight MVPs. That's kind of crazy that can quite possibly be a thing. But he has them playing tremendous basketball right now. 34-14, 2.5 game lead on the Memphis Grizzlies for the number 1 seed out west. Has them, dominant home team, 22-4 at home. They are just absolutely lights out at home. But a good win versus, like I said, even though it's a depleted Pelicans team that's missing a lot of guys, but still a good win, for them. Don't know when the situation with Zion, when he'll come back with the hammy. Like I said, we talked about Ingram with the toe and all that, but it's going to be tough for them to get buckets, without Bi and Zion. CJ is more than capable, but you need guys like like Murphy, who they took a few years ago, who I loved, Trey Murphy. He's going to have to step up, obviously. Devontae Graham, has been obviously not the player that, they put on. He has not shot the ball well. He's probably someone they're going to try to dump at the deadline or something. But they just need to be healthy, man. And I think that's the biggest thing we talked about the Pelicans is if they're healthy, they can be a top 4 team in the West. I truly believe that. But, injuries and all that, it's going to be tough for them. But the Bi stuff, I think he's played in teens amount of games, 15 to 19 games passively. So that's something that I don't know when he'll be back. I thought he'll be back by now, but he is not back. But that's tough. But Nuggets take care of business, get the W. And my guy Aaron, Pelicans are playing well. Yeah, man, injury, like I mentioned, man, Aaron, the injuries are tough. And we've seen a lot of injuries this season. It's been an injury-riddled season. Most teams, minus the Nuggets, minus the Nuggets, all the teams that are in playoff contention, even Memphis, Bane has been out for a while. Jaren Jackson was out. I've battled injuries, so the Pelicans are just one another team. Denver right now is the healthiest team. And right now, the healthiest team is on top. And I think that's something we're going to see even playoff time. Whoever the healthiest team might be raising that Larry O'Brien trophy. And it may not be the best team, but the healthiest team seems like it's going to be champions, and that seems like that's going to be it this season. But, yeah, man, Pelicans are playing well, man. Team I really liked. And I think they could still be a championship team if they get things going. But good, tough loss for them. But Nikola Jokic is just that dude. He's probably MVP as we speak. So tough loss for them as they try to get their two all-stars back in action. But another game that was a barn burner. The Wizards, the Mavs, a lot of trash talking, especially after the game with Spencer Dinwiddie saying the guys are just putting out going out there, going for the numbers and all that. I think and Kyle Kuzma said that hit him back with saying they're doing the same thing, which could be the case. Especially for Washington's case, a team that's it has talent, but they it seems like they might be sellers. They just traded Rui Hachimura to the for Kendrick Nunn in the trade to the Los Angeles Lakers. But this was a fun game. Luka had 41, 15, and 6. Luka's going to do Luka things. Dwight Powell, 22 and 9. Spencer had 20 points. Kyle Kuzma had 30 points. I think Bradley Beal had 22, I think. So Wizards come out with a good win on the road at Dallas. And Dallas, this team just it's going to be tough for Dallas. It's going to be tough, without having another guy that you can trust with Luka. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. But Corey Kispert had 14. Danny Advia had a double-double, 15 and 10. Will Barton had 8 off the bench, in just 15 minutes. He played solid. DeLon Wright had 10 points, so they got contributions from a lot of people. Even Daniel Gafford gave them 9 and 7, so solid effort for Monte Morris at 13. Dallas is just, it's going to be a struggle, when Dwight Powell is your second leading scorer in the game. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. Yep, Kuz had the laugh. He definitely had the last laugh in this. Hit some big free throws late and got the job done. 30-piece, help his team, get the W. He's in some trade rumors, so we'll see what happens. What they, what they get for him if they decide to move on for him. But the Wizards, a team that's just trying to figure out, but they're only a game out of the play-in, so that's one way to look at things. The play-in has given teams, even false hope, but hope. And if they're looking at it this way, with the way the Bulls have been playing, so up and down, that they can have a chance to sneak in and be that 10th seed. And once you're in, you never know. There's so much uncertainty in the league, you never know. But we'll see what happens. But a big win on the road against the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go on. I won't talk about much of this game. Just a blowout. just a blowout. I don't know why. For some reason I thought there were more blowouts, but there was only really essentially 2 blowouts, and so other games were essentially pretty solid, pretty good games for the most part, especially with the Pacers with the comeback. But Suns take care of business, 128-98. Won't get into it much. Obviously Devin Booker's still out, but CP3 had a double-double. What he had to get 14-11. Cam Johnson 24 points, 6 threes. Dario Saric had 19. So a good win. A lot of stuff going on with the Phoenix Suns with the new ownership coming in, and just a lot of turmoil going on. But Charlotte's in tank mode. Charlotte's gonna be the sellers at the deadline most likely. Terry Rozier had 19. Jalen McDaniels had 15 and 10, I think. So, they got some good pieces in Charlotte. They just too much going on there right now. But I think a good offseason, and I think they can bounce back. But for the Suns, Bridges 18 points. Everyone played good. Everyone, they got contributions from the bench. Bench played really good. They had 3 guys off the bench with 10 plus points. On top of CP3 with a double-double, Cam Johnson 24. Just a good good performance and dominant win. Cam Johnson looked, they needed him, man. That was a getting him back is crucial for what they could do. Gives them shooting, a big wing like that, especially with Devin Booker out. You're going to see a lot more of him, showing his scoring prowess and, definitely some games where he gone missing, but overall, I would say in the last, especially since his comeback, and he was playing solid before he got hurt. Had a couple of big games, but since he's been back, 19 points. He had 8 points and the 24 points against Charlotte. I think he's gonna be a big part of why they can still stay in that playoff contention. But yeah, he's been good since in the few games he's been back for sure. But big dominant win. And let's go to the last game of the night, and that is the Clippers and the Los Angeles Lakers. Kawhi Leonard, 25 points, 9 rebounds. Paul George, 27 and 9. Norman Powell had 22 points. LeBron James went off, but just wasn't enough. Didn't get much help in their loss, but 46 points as he inches closer to passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points in NBA history, which is just pretty remarkable. Also had 8 rebounds, 7 assists. But the Clippers, this is the Clippers teams we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this. This the Clippers team we've been waiting for. This is the team that made me feel like, this team can win a championship. It really did. It made me feel like, okay, they could win a championship with this team. So Kawhi looked good. PG looked solid. Definitely, like I said, Reggie Jackson played good. Norman Powell played good. Terrence Mann. When those guys are clicking, man, when this team clicks, they're good. Now they still need some especially some big man depth. And I don't know if they're gonna try to do that at the deadline and all that. Maybe try to flip like Robert Covington or someone. But they got to figure that out. But it's this is it. This is the Clippers team that can do it, can win a championship. We see this performance and it just like, but we haven't seen this lineup, a lot, and it all comes down to health, like we mentioned with all these teams. It comes down to health. If they can be healthy, man, this team has a lot of talent and a lot of guys who have played in big games, to do this. So it is sometimes I'm just like, oh man, this team, needs to figure it out, because you grow frustrations with this team, man. It gets frustrating. It really does get frustrating, but this is a team that can do it all, and can win a championship. But it's just a matter of being healthy. But before we go on to our player of the night, we have a sponsor segment by our guys at NordVPN.
NordVPN not only encrypts your traffic and changes your IP address, but also has tons of other top VPN features that give you maximum protection. VPN can sometimes be vital, especially if you operate in countries with low internet freedom index or restricted freedom of speech. In such situations, your online actions can lead to fines or even imprisonment. Meet Double VPN. It brings the benefits of enhanced security, complete privacy, and double encryption, making it twice as hard for attackers to decipher your online data. For your everyday needs, a standard VPN connection is more than enough. Browse privately and enjoy secure internet connection at high speeds. But if you're a journalist or an activist advocating freedom of speech, Double VPN is your go-to solution. Finding Double VPN in the NordVPN app is easy. Go to Settings and set VPN protocol to Open VPN. Find the Double VPN category in the specialty servers. You'll see a bunch of country combinations available. Pick the one that suits you best and connect. That's it. Now your entire internet connection is secured with double encryption. Double VPN's available on NordVPN apps for Mac OS, iOS, Android, Linux, and Windows. So don't wait and get NordVPN immediately. Our top VPN features will guarantee you a safe and smooth online experience. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
NordVPN. Make sure you go on there. We have a link in our website, offtheballnetwork.com. So make sure to check out NordVPN, another great sponsor of the Off the Ball Network. I have a link here. I have what they're giving out. New year, new deal, 59% off. But make sure to go to the offtheballnetwork.com. We have a link on the front page, and also to make sure to check out a lot of the great articles. We got Stuart Brooking, who had a great article about Anthony Richardson before Florida quarterback. I got Nick Andres put out some good work about Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant. And check out all the great content creators we have at the Off the Ball Network. A lot of great basketball content creators, all types, betting. We got Kenneth with the betting, Rob, all those, Pat, all those guys, Walker with the betting, NBA stuff with Nick, the Hoopers. Check out the Hoopers. They put out great work. Knicks Fan Wild, and you love Knicks stuff, go check out Knicks Fan Wild and what I got Juan and Triple M in the building. And of course, you can check me out Off the Ball Podcast. Get a Bucket Podcast with my guy Kevin. Probably gonna do an episode tomorrow, but tap into everyone at the Off the Ball Network. Make sure to follow us and all that. But check out the great sponsors we have and all that. But we're gonna cap it off with our player of the night, and there's a lot of great, and we do this daily. Well, every day we'll go in the chat and we discuss who our player of the night is, and I think this was kind of unanimous with our player of the night. And then we usually, how we do it, unless a guy goes absolutely crazy, if he drops 70 like Devin Booker in the pass and he just happens to lose, little exception, but we usually try to go with the winner, the player who played best in a winning effort. So we continue that. And today, our OTBN player of the night goes to Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. He was absolutely tremendous last night, and he is our player of the night.
Yeah, Mitchell had a poor shooting game, so he's back after a 3-game hiatus. Randle from 3. And the 38 points that he scored, he had no 3-pointers nor a free throw.
And Randle 2 for 2 from downtown. Knicks off to a good offensive start.
Yeah, he's been getting nothing out of this play. Got to move it.
Randle 3-pointer. Bang! Julius Randle from way downtown. That's a big number. A little bit past the midway point. He's got 18 already. Barrett drives on Allen, kicks it up to Randle. Randle wide open for 3. That's good. Julius Randle. Cavs do not have a foul to give quickly. Back up top. Randle 3-pointer. It's good. Julius Randle from way downtown.
Julius Randle, the OTBN player of the night, 36 points, 13 rebounds, a career high, 8 threes in the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, 105-103. Julius Randle, player of the night. So that's going to cap it off for the first edition of our OTBN NBA Afternoon Daily Show. Appreciate everyone who tapped in and watched. We're going to try to do this, whether it's with me or whether it's someone else, we're going to try to do this as frequent as possible. I think this is going to be a great show, just going over, half hour, 45 minutes, talking about the previous night's games. Same structure, go over, a brief recap of each game, and then, hit the player of the night. But appreciate everyone who tuned in. Make sure to check out everyone at the Off the Ball Network. Make sure to go to offtheballnetwork.com. Check out the merch store we got. We got some good, cool merch, more merch in the works. Check out offtheballnetwork.com. Go follow us on all our social medias. Follow me at Off the Ball Pod. Just put out a show with Global Scouting. My guy Isaac talking about the NBA draft and kind of his journey. Make sure to check out, Get a Bucket Podcast with me and Kev, talking about all things college basketball, recruiting, and all that. But that's going to conclude this show. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Appreciate everyone who showed support to the network. But on that note, be well, be safe, take care. Peace out.